welcome to Cooking with Melly. This space is going to be about everything cooking and food related, recipe related. Guys, if you want to know how I made this Nigerian meat pie the easy way, my way, please stay tuned. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you. Welcome back, guys. So I use my food processor to make this way easier for me. So I'll drop the recipe down in the description box, but for the standard recipe I use 250 grams of flour, 125 grams of margarine or very cold butter, 1 tablespoon of sugar, which is optional, and a pinch of salt. I also use a teaspoon baking powder. I pulse my flour mixture and the margarine together until I get a fine texture. Then I pour cold water in bits till I achieve a moldable texture. It's not going to be watery, guys. You have to gauge the water so that it's not going to be too loose, but just a nice moldable texture. Please do not knead the dough. If you want to achieve a nice buttery and flaky pie, do not knead the dough because your dough will turn out tough. Then wrap in a cling film and put in the refrigerator. Wrap tight and put in the refrigerator to rest for a while. While the dough is resting, we prepare our fillings. We'll be using carrots, Irish potato, and onions. We'll first of all clean them by peeling and washing the vegetables. Then we cut them into cubes. Then we add our minced meat, 250 grams minced meat. When it's all ready, we'll put our sauce pot on fire and then we'll pour in our oil. We can use corn flour oil, vegetable oil, or any form of tasteless and odorless oil. Then we pour our onions to saute to add flavor, and then we fry the onions till it's a little translucent. Then we'll add our minced meat. When we add the minced meat, we break up the lumps, or we mash up the lumps so it will be in tiny bits. Then we'll proceed to season our filling, and for the seasoning I'll be using 1 beef stock cube, and then I'll be using curry powder, thyme, and salt to taste. Guys, I realized that Nigerian curry is more flavorful and more colorful. It gives more colorful depth to your food. So if you have Nigerian curry wherever you are or you have access to it, please feel free to use it, because I love me some Nigerian curry more than every other kind of curry that I see here in Doha. Don't forget to also add any other form of seasoning that you're comfortable eating. Is your choice. It can be customized to your taste as well. Guys, next thing is to add water or meat broth to this filling to cook up our potatoes and vegetables. Okay, if you don't have meat broth or meat stock, please feel free to use just water. Once your filling is seasoned properly, it will taste absolutely nice. Then we add our carrots and our potatoes and stir and top up water to the pot to cover the content of the pot. After a while, we can check our potato and carrots to make sure it's cooked fine. If it's not totally cooked yet, it's fine because you're still going to bake it and it will still have some time to cook up in the oven. So we test for salt and add more if needed. We'll mix flour, 1 tablespoon flour in water to make our thickener. Then we pour the mixture, the thickener mixture, into this filling to make the filling thicker. After putting in the flour mixture, we'll stir it properly to evenly distribute this thickener. And after cooking for about 2 to 3 minutes, we'll stir properly, and then our filling is done. We transfer into a clean bowl and let it rest because we can't use a hot filling on our dough. It's time to make our pie now. So when it's out of the fridge, we cut out in smaller sizes, put on a floured board and roll with a rolling pin to flatten out. We cut it out with any size of cutter or shape of cutter we have, but if we don't have, we can use any bowl of our choice. Then we put the filling in the middle of the cut out dough, and then with our fork we tighten the both ends. So after making this pie, I realized that it was too large, and then it's more time exhausting than using my meat pie cutter, so I decided to ditch it and just use my meat pie cutter. So with my meat pie cutter, it was easier for me. Someone else would prefer to use a bowl, but I prefer to use my meat pie cutter. Alright, still the same process. I put the dough in the cutter, press it down, put the filling in the middle and close together. Here it is. I'll do it one more time. So this recipe I've given to you guys, which is also going to be on the description, is the standard size recipe, guys, that can give you at least 6 pies. You can get more depending on the size of your dough, but you get at least 6 pies. I learned this recipe since I was in secondary school. We were taught during our food and nutrition classes in secondary school. But for this particular video, I doubled the recipe. You can double and triple depending on the size or as needed, guys. This recipe, you can just double it as much as you want. Then what we're doing now is egg washing. When we're done with the egg washing, we use fork to poke the pies so that it doesn't burst in the oven, so that the heat can pass through and cook evenly and don't burst our pie. Guys, you don't want your pie to burst in the oven, trust me, it's so heartbreaking. So this is our end results, guys. Please do not forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up and follow, share, guys. Thank you.